probably heard about this film. It's gotten a lot of attention,
It has.
and for good reason. It's about a very serious topic, child sex trafficking.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it tells the true story of Tim Ballard, a former Homeland Security agent who starts an organization called Operation Underground Railroad
Okay.
to rescue children from sex trafficking.
Right.
The film specifically focuses on Ballard's mission to rescue a young boy in Colombia. So pretty heavy stuff. And today we're going to be looking at some source material that we have
Okay.
that discusses the film, its impact, and also the reality of child sex trafficking.
So, where should we start with this?
Well, the first thing that stood out to me is that Jim Caviezel
Oh, yeah?
was cast as Ballard.
Okay.
Now, he's known for these really intense, often spiritual roles.
Right.
I think that adds a certain,
It does.
I don't know, a weight to the film. Yeah.
You know, a gravitas.
Absolutely. And speaking of adding weight to the film, there's a quote from one of the sources we have today,
Oh, okay.
and it's from a Dr. Raja King.
Okay.
And he says that the negative nature, such as lust, is used by these bad Americans. And that really struck me because it
Yeah.
directly addresses the demand side of child sex trafficking,
It does.
which I feel like we don't talk about enough.
Yeah, we often focus on, the perpetrators, the traffickers themselves.
Right.
But the demand side is really...
What fuels this whole horrific industry.
Absolutely.
And just for some context, Dr. Raja King, he's the writer and editor of the Journal of Islamic Psychology and Islamic Philosophy.
Okay.
So he's approaching this topic from a very specific perspective and his worldview.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, the source goes on to say that there's a significant problem with American demand for child sex trafficking.
Right.
Children are being sold to rich Americans for sexual abuse and child slavery.
It's a really, really tough reality.
It is. It's a really hard thing to even think about.
Yeah, it is. It's tough.
But it's something that we need to talk about.
We do.
And I think this film, Sound of Freedom, really brings that to light.
It does. And it kind of forces us to...
confront this issue head on.
Yeah. This film's more than just entertainment.
It is.
It's starting a really important conversation.
Right.
And it's prompting us to ask tough questions.
Exactly.
Like, what is our responsibility in all of this? How can we...
help protect children?
That's such a great point.
Yeah.
And it makes me think about the ethical considerations surrounding a film like this.
Okay.
Because it's a really sensitive subject matter. And I think we have to ask ourselves,
Yeah.
how do filmmakers...
balance the need to raise awareness about these horrific crimes without, in a way, exploiting the very issue they're
Right.
trying to expose?
It's a very delicate balance.
It is. And then there's the question of how you can depict
The reality of these children suffering in a way that respects their dignity.
Right. It's very, very important to remember that these are real children
Absolutely.
who have gone through unimaginable trauma.
Yeah.
And I think for us as viewers...
And listeners,
Yeah.
It's our responsibility to listen to these stories
Yes.
with empathy and sensitivity.
And not just, turn a blind eye to what's happening.
Hit the nail on the head. It's like, what do we do with this information?
Right. Exactly.
Like, it's one thing to be aware, but how do we turn that awareness into action?
Right.
And I think that's where organizations like Operation Underground Railroad
Okay.
come in, because they're actually on the ground.
Working to rescue these children and bring the perpetrators to justice.
Right. And if you were inspired
Yeah.
by Tim Ballard's story and the work of Operation Underground Railroad.
And I think that's a great place to start.
Yeah.
You can support their efforts. You can raise awareness in your own communities.
You can talk to your friends and family about this issue.
Even just having those conversations can make a difference.
Exactly.
Breaking the silence
Yeah.
is a huge step
And I know it's easy to feel overwhelmed.
by the enormity of this problem, right?
It is. It's a global issue.
But even the smallest actions can make a difference.
That's so true.
So I want to encourage you, as we wrap up this deep dive today.
To think about what you can do to be a part of the solution.
Yeah. Be the change.
You want to see.
Exactly. All right. So that's it for today. We'll see you next